Chosen one, I need to say something to you right now that is going to ask more of you than most words have. Not more effort, more stillness, more willing. God said something about you, not to encourage you in a general direction, not to remind you of your worth in a broad sense. He said something specific. He said, you are the reason it ends. Now, before your mind does what minds trained in humility do, before it reaches for the exit of that cannot mean me, that is too much, that is something I am not ready to receive, I need you to understand something about the grammar of that sentence. The reason it ends does not mean you are carrying the weight of the world. It does not mean the outcome of divine plans is contingent on your performance under pressure. It means something much more precise. It means there is a thing that has been held, a thing that has been sealed, a thing that has been kept in position for a specific moment, and the specific person the completion of that thing was assigned to is you. Not because you are the most prepared, not because you have been the most consistent, but because you are the one who has been arriving at this moment, and the arrival itself, the fact of you being here, the specific things you have walked through to get to this point, is the mechanism God chose. I want you to understand what tomorrow means in this context, because I am not talking about the calendar. I am not talking about a 24-hour window that is going to expire and leave you with missed opportunity. I am talking about something that does not exist in clock time. In Hebrew scripture, there are two words for time, chronos and kairos. Chronos is the time that ticks, the time you manage and schedule and run out of. Kairos is a different thing entirely. Kairos is the appointed moment, the convergence point, the specific coordinate in divine architecture where what has been prepared meets who has been prepared. Tomorrow, in this message, is Kairos time, and you are the reason it ends because the Kairos appointment has your name on it. If something in you rose when you heard those words, if something ancient recognized them, even while another part of you was trying to protect you from receiving them, type in the comments right now. Type, the appointment is mine. Because that recognition is not wishful thinking, that is the receiver in you responding to the signal that has been trying to reach you for longer than this season has been difficult. There are 5 revelations in this message. Each one is going to land at a deeper level than the one before. And by the time the final one arrives, you will understand not just that you are the reason it ends, but specifically how you step into that designation and walk into the moment it has been preparing you for. Chosen one, let me begin with the first revelation, and I want to deliver it as precisely as possible because it addresses something that has been costing you. You have been waiting for a final moment. You know this. You have felt the quality of it, the sense of something significant approaching, the way certain seasons feel like they are moving toward something rather than simply moving. You have had this feeling for a while, and you have also had another feeling sitting alongside it, the feeling that you are not ready for whatever that moment requires. The first revelation is this: the sense that you are not ready is not information about your readiness, it is information about your receiver. Let me explain the difference. A receiver is a piece of equipment. When a receiver is functioning at full capacity, it detects the signal clearly. It responds to the signal with appropriate output. When a receiver is degraded, it detects a partial signal. It responds to the partial signal with uncertainty. It produces the sensation of receiving something important without the ability to fully process what it is or what to do with it. You have been receiving a partial signal. The sense of something important approaching has been real. The sense of not knowing what to do with it has been the receiver operating below its designed capacity. You have been interpreting the gap as unreadiness. What it has actually been is the gap between the signal strength and the receiver capacity. The final moment is real. The appointment is real. Your designation as the reason it ends is real. What has not yet been real is the condition of the receiver through which you are supposed to step into that appointment. And here is what changes everything. Receiver condition is not a moral quality. It is not a measure of your faith, your discipline, your worthiness, or your preparation in the spiritual sense. It is a physiological state. And physiological states are addressable in ways that moral failures are not. The second revelation is also about the receiver, but it approaches it from a different direction. Most people walking through an extended formation season begin to interpret the length of the season as evidence that there is something wrong with them, that the reason they have not yet walked into what they were prepared for is a failure of faith, a hidden unworthiness, a flaw in their character or their submission that God is waiting for them to correct. And they spend enormous amounts of internal energy trying to correct things that are not the actual problem. The actual problem is simpler than that and more treatable. The formation season itself, the specific kind of pressure it has placed on your whole person, has created conditions in your neurological system that reduce the capacity of the receiver, not through any fault of yours. The same way a phone in a poor signal environment drains its battery faster, the sustained demand of the formation season drains the capacity of the receiver faster than normal life would. And the degraded receiver is what makes the sense of readiness inaccessible. The good news in that is that readiness is not what you thought it was. You are not waiting to become more worthy. You are waiting for the receiver to be at the capacity the appointment requires. And that is solvable. Chosen one, let me give you the third revelation. And this one is going to ask you to let go of a story you have probably been telling yourself about what tomorrow means. Most people, when they hear that the final moment is tomorrow, hear it as urgency, as pressure, as a deadline arriving before they are ready. And they respond to it the way people in formation seasons respond to pressure, which is to add it to the weight they are already carrying and try to manage it alongside everything else. But tomorrow, in the language of divine appointment, does not carry urgency in the way clock time does. Kairos does not expire the way Chronos does. When God says the final moment is tomorrow, He is not giving you a deadline. He is giving you a coordinate. He is saying the appointment exists, it is real, it is set, and you have been moving toward it the entire time without knowing the name of where you were going. The pressure you have been feeling is not the pressure of being behind. It is the pressure of approaching something real. It is the specific sensation of a Kairos appointment getting close enough to be felt in your body. That sensation has been misinterpreted as alarm. It is actually the feeling of arrival. Now here is where the third revelation gets specific. The reason you are, the reason it ends, is not random. It is not preferential treatment in the sense of God playing favorites. It is architectural. You were built with a specific set of experiential material, a specific combination of what you have walked through, what you have survived, what you have learned in the formation, what has been taken from you, and what has been developed in you through the taking, that creates the precise profile that the completion of this thing requires. The reason it ends when you step into it is because you carry the combination that unlocks the final configuration. Not because you are superior to everyone else who has been waiting, because you are exactly the profile that the appointment was designed around. Think about what that means for the waiting. The waiting was not delay, the waiting was assembly. Every year, every season, everything that was added and everything that was stripped away was a component being placed into the profile that the appointment requires. You have not been delayed from your destiny. You have been assembled for it, and the assembly is complete. The final moment is tomorrow because the assembly is complete. Not because a clock said so, because you have become the profile. Type in the comments right now if you feel something shifting in how you understand what you have been walking through. Type, "I am the profile," because what you are declaring is not that you have arrived at perfection. You are declaring that you have arrived at the configuration the appointment was waiting for. Chosen one. Now, I want to pause and bring someone into this message whose story illuminates exactly what I am describing, because the pattern I have been outlining is not new. It has repeated in the architecture of divine action across human history. And the person I want to bring forward understood from the inside what it meant to be the reason something ended. Her name is Esther, and I do not want to bring her story to you as a story about bravery, though it required extraordinary bravery. I want to bring it to you as a story about appointment. Esther was not the most prepared person in the room. She was not the most spiritually educated. She had not been through more formal training than the people around her. What Esther had was a profile, a specific combination of position, relationship, access, cultural intelligence, and a quality of character that had been developed through the specific conditions of her life, conditions that looked from the outside like disadvantage, like being an orphan in a foreign culture, like being a person without natural power in a power-structured environment. All of it was assembly. And when the moment arrived, Mordecai said something to Esther that I want to bring directly into this message for you. He said, "Who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this?" That is Kairos language. That is the language of the appointment, speaking through a human voice to the person who was assembled for it. Esther was the reason that specific ending happened, not because she was the obvious choice, because she was the precise profile. And the thing that almost cost her the appointment, the fear, the sense of not being ready, the awareness of how much the moment required, was not a sign that she was the wrong person. It was the sign that she was the right person who had not yet understood what she was walking into. You are in Esther's position right now, not metaphorically, structurally. The specific set of things that make you feel least qualified for the appointment are the components that make you most precisely fitted for it. The years that looked like being in the background, the seasons that looked like preparation without deployment, the quiet accumulation of depth through circumstances that did not look significant from the outside. That is the assembly of the profile. And Mordecai is speaking into your moment right now through this message. Who knows whether you have come to where you are for such a time as this? Type in the comments, type "for such a time as this," and let that declaration be the moment you stop arguing with the appointment. Chosen one, there is something I need to name for you now that is operating against the appointment, because understanding what the obstacle is changes how you address it. I am going to call it the perpetual tomorrow pattern. This is a specific way of relating to appointment that keeps a person perpetually one step removed from the moment they are walking toward. It works like this. The appointment is real. The sense of it being close is real. And every time the person moves toward it, something in the system, something neurological, something in the pattern of the mind that has been formed by the formation season, redirects that movement toward preparation rather than arrival, toward another layer of getting ready rather than the step of actually arriving. The person living in the perpetual tomorrow pattern is not undisciplined. They are not faithless. They are not unwilling. They are the most willing person in the room, but every tomorrow arrives and becomes today. And every today, the appointment is one more day away. Not because the appointment moved, because the receiver that is supposed to recognize the appointment when it arrives is running below the sensitivity required to distinguish this moment from every other moment. This is not a spiritual problem. It is a receiver problem. And the receiver problem has a specific solution that does not involve trying harder to arrive. The second obstacle I want to name is what I call the inadequacy argument. This is the internal case the mind builds against the designation. The reason it ends, because of you, sounds too large. It sounds like the kind of thing that belongs to someone who has done something more obviously significant. Someone who has more visible evidence of being at the level the appointment requires. And your mind, running on the partial signal of a degraded receiver, builds a case against the designation that sounds reasonable. That cites evidence. That points to everything that has not yet materialized as proof that the designation might be mistaken. The inadequacy argument is not a spiritual discernment. It is static. It is what happens when the receiver is picking up the signal of the appointment and filtering it through a system that cannot process it at full resolution. When the receiver is restored, the argument loses its material, not because you become more impressive, because the clarity of reception replaces the static with signal. And signal does not produce the inadequacy argument. Signal produces the quiet certainty that you know where you are going. Type in the comments. If you have been living in the perpetual tomorrow pattern, type, "I step into today," because the declaration is a reset of the pattern. Chosen one, I want to give you something practical in the middle of this message, not a thought, a mechanism. Because what I am describing requires an understanding that goes from the conceptual to the functional before it can change anything in your daily experience. I am going to describe what whole brain function actually makes available to the person walking into a Kairos appointment, not as spiritual poetry. As a description of what is measurably different in a person whose neurological system is operating at the level it was designed for, when the two hemispheres of the brain are in synchronized relationship, which is the state that researchers have identified as the operating condition of 98% of children and less than 1 in 1,000 adults. 3 specific capacities become available that are not reliably available in the partial sync state. The first is pattern recognition at the level of what most people would describe as intuition, the ability to receive a complex set of inputs and produce a clear directional output without being able to articulate the steps of reasoning that produced it. This is not mystical. It is the function of an integrated whole brain system processing information at a speed and depth that the sequential left brain process cannot match alone. This is the capacity that allows a person to recognize Kairos when it arrives, to feel the appointment rather than just knowing about it intellectually. The second is what I call receptive depth, the ability to hold a large quantity of information in a non-linear state and allow it to resolve into a coherent understanding without forcing it. This is the capacity that allows a person to stay present in the final moment without being overwhelmed by it, to receive the fullness of what the appointment is delivering without the system shutting down in the face of something too large. The third is what neuroscientists have called flow state integration, the state in which action and knowing are not separate, in which the person moving through a significant moment is not consciously directing every movement, but is operating from a unified intelligent state that produces the right response at the right time. This is the state that allows a person to be the reason something ends without carrying the felt weight of that responsibility as a burden. All 3 of these capacities belong to you by design. They are not achievements. They are the default operating state of a whole brain system. And they have been partially inaccessible not because you have failed to develop them, but because the receiver has been running below the sync threshold they require. When that threshold is restored, these 3 capacities come back online, not as something new you have acquired, but as something original that has been uncovered. Chosen one, I want to give you a name for something that you have been living with, but may not have had language for. I am going to call it the Kairos blind spot. This is the specific gap between knowing an appointment is real and being able to move into it as if you know it is real. Most people in the formation season you are in have experienced this. They know, in the deepest layer of their knowing, that they are approaching something significant, and they also know that their daily experience does not reflect that knowledge in their behavior, their decisions, their level of forward movement. There is a gap between the knowing and the moving, and that gap is the signature of the Kairos blind spot. The Kairos blind spot is not a faith issue. It is not about how much you believe. A person can believe at the highest possible level that they are the reason something ends and still be unable to step into the appointment because the system through which the belief is supposed to translate into action is not at the integration level the translation requires. This is why more believing does not close the gap. The gap is not made of unbelief. It is made of neurological fragmentation, and the way to close it is not to believe harder. It is to restore the integration of the system through which believing becomes moving. There is a second identity I want to name for you. Alongside the designation of being the reason it ends, you carry what I call the threshold appointment. This is the specific moment in the architecture of a calling when everything that has been assembled is finally in position, and the person walks from the preparation zone into the deployment zone. Not in theory, in practice, in daily movement, in the quality of presence they bring to their work and their relationships and their obedience. You are at the threshold appointment right now, not approaching it, at it. The reason the message found you today, the reason something in you recognized the words about tomorrow and the appointment and you being the reason it ends, is that the threshold is under your feet right now. And what stands between where your foot is and where it needs to land is a receiver that needs to be operating at the level the next step requires. I want to take you somewhere for a moment. Hold an image. It is a specific morning in the near future. You wake up and the first sensation you have is one of interior clarity that you have not had as a baseline for some time. Not excitement, not a peak experience. A quality of settled readiness. The kind of readiness that does not need to announce itself because it is simply the natural operating state of a system that is working the way it was designed. You move through that morning making the decisions the appointment requires, not laboring over them, not cycling through the inadequacy argument for each one. Moving from the integrated knowing of a receiver that is picking up the signal clearly, that morning is available to you. It is not aspirational. It is the design specification of what you were built to carry. Chosen one, let me slow down for a moment and give you something that belongs in the middle of this message, because the revelations we have been moving through are not meant to pass through you quickly. They are meant to land, and landing requires space. I want to walk you through 5 specific signs that confirm you are the person this appointment was designed for, not as validation, as calibration, so that when you hear yourself described with precision, the receiver in you recognizes the signal it is receiving and can act on it more cleanly. The first sign is that you have been carrying something for a long time that you have not been able to put down, not an emotion, a knowing, a sense of something you are supposed to do or be or walk into that has not dimmed in proportion to how long it has taken to arrive. Most feelings diminish with time. This one has not. It has changed shape. It has adapted to each season. But the core of it, the specific quality of the knowing, has been consistent. That is not stubbornness. That is the signature of a designation that does not expire. The second sign is that you have been in the vicinity of what you were made for without yet fully occupying it. You have been close enough to taste it. You have had experiences that showed you a version of what full operation in your calling looks like. And those experiences were not random. They were the receiver picking up a partial signal from the full version of what is coming. They were previews, not delays in the form of cruelty. Previews in the form of calibration, showing you the quality of what is approaching so that your system can recognize it when it arrives at full resolution. The third sign is that the people connected to you have felt the shift when you are fully present, even if they cannot name it, even if they would not use spiritual language to describe it. You have walked into rooms and the quality of the room changed. You have had conversations that went somewhere unexpected because of the quality you brought to them. You have been present for people in crisis, and your presence changed the texture of the crisis in a way that had nothing to do with what you said or did. That is the field effect of the designation. It is not about you, it is about what you carry. The fourth sign is that you have survived things that should have ended the assignment, not in a dramatic sense necessarily, but in the quiet mathematics of ordinary life. There have been seasons where the compound weight of what you were carrying was sufficient to justify stopping, and you did not stop. Not always from a place of faith-filled resolve, sometimes from something more fundamental than resolve. From the simple fact that the designation does not allow the profile to be retired before the appointment. The survival was not your strength. It was the appointment, refusing to lose the person it was built around. The fifth sign is this message. The fact that you are here, that you pressed play, that something in you recognized the title and the words as something meant for you, specifically. That recognition is not emotional response to spiritual language. It is the receiver picking up a signal it has been calibrated to receive. You did not arrive here by accident. Appointments do not work by accident. Chosen one. Now, I want to close the loop that has been open since the beginning of this message. I told you there was a mechanism I was going to name. I told you there was something confirmed in laboratories that most people walking in the spiritual community have not been told about. I held it until now because the solution only becomes useful once you understand the full shape of the problem it solves. You now understand the shape. You are the reason it ends. The appointment is real. The assembly of your profile is complete. And the specific thing standing between where you are and the experience of walking into that appointment at full capacity is the condition of the receiver. Before I tell you what addresses it, let me give you two pictures of what a restored receiver produces in the lives of real people, people not unlike you. A woman from California had been in what she described as years of sincere preparation. She had done everything available to her, every prayer discipline, every spiritual practice, every form of preparation that had been recommended, and she kept arriving at the same wall. The knowing was there, the movement was not. After 10 days of what I am about to describe, she said something cleared. A channel that had been blocked opened. She said she stopped having to labor her way into clarity. It arrived. A man from Texas had been holding responsibility for everyone around him while his own interior life ran thin. He said prayer had started to feel like speaking into something that was not receiving. 2 weeks later, he described his mind as running on all of what it was supposed to run on. The fog he had been living in so consistently, he stopped registering it as fog was gone. That is because of what the team I am about to describe built. Dr. Roger Sperry received the Nobel Prize in 1981 for confirming something about the human brain that most people in spiritual communities have never heard, explained in these terms. The brain was designed for synchronized whole brain operation, two hemispheres working in integrated relationship. When that synchronization is active, The person operates at the level of creative genius, of deep receptivity, of the integrated action that allows someone to step into a significant moment without the friction between knowing and moving. A team of neuroscientists, led by Dr. Daniel Barone in New York, spent years taking clinical-grade neural sync technology, the kind used in specialized medical settings, and compressing it into an 8-minute targeted auditory sequence. 8 minutes. Headphones. Eyes closed. Daily. They call it the genius switch. It is not a brainwave product. It is not a meditation app. It is a targeted auditory sequence engineered to restore hemisphere synchronization based on the Nobel Prize research of Dr. Roger Sperry. It does not ask anything of you beyond 8 minutes of daily listening. It works beneath your awareness. The receiver restores itself, and the capacities that belong to the restored receiver, pattern recognition at the intuitive level, receptive depth, the flow state integration that makes action and knowing the same movement return. The genius switch is not for everyone. It is for the chosen one who has been assembled for an appointment and is standing at the threshold of walking into it. The person who has been sincere for years and is finally at the moment where sincerity meets capacity, and who is ready to stop treating the gap as an argument against the appointment. Not $500, not $100. Today at $39, with 4 free bonuses including a Calm app visualization, a grocery guide, a foundational text on manifestation, and a habits infographic. Backed by an unconditional money-back guarantee. Every dollar returned if it does not do what it has done for 18,000 people. If someone offers a similar product elsewhere, Dr. Barone's team has studied them. The mechanism is what makes the difference. The verified page is in the description below and in the pinned comment. If your spirit resonates, that is where you go. Chosen one, there is something I have not yet addressed about the season you have been in. Something that has been operating quietly in the background and that costs more than it announces. I am going to call it the appointment erosion. This is what happens when a person is in a genuine Kairos formation season for long enough that the formation itself begins to obscure the appointment. Not through dramatic spiritual failure. Through the accumulation of ordinary fatigue, ordinary disappointment, ordinary adjustments of expectation that look like wisdom but are actually the appointment becoming smaller in the imagination. The appointment erosion works in stages. In the first stage, you lower your timeline. The appointment was supposed to arrive sooner than it has, so you stop holding a specific sense of when and begin holding a general sense of eventually. In the second stage, you lower the scope. The appointment was supposed to produce something at a certain magnitude, and because that magnitude has not materialized, you begin to quietly adjust the magnitude downward to something that seems more realistic. In the third stage, you lower your expectation of your own role. Instead of being the reason it ends, you begin to see yourself as someone in the vicinity of the ending. A supporting character, present but not central. Each of these adjustments feels like humility. Each of them is actually the appointment being slowly talked down by a system that is receiving a degraded signal. A receiver at full capacity does not produce the appointment erosion. Because a receiver at full capacity does not interpret the delay as evidence that the appointment has changed. It interprets the delay as the final phase of the assembly, which is what it is. The reversal of the appointment erosion does not come through deciding to believe bigger again. That approach works temporarily and then collapses when the circumstances do not cooperate. The reversal comes through restoring the receiver. When the receiver is operating at the level it was designed for, the signal arrives at the original clarity, and the original clarity does not produce erosion. It produces the quiet certainty that you know where you are going and that the appointment has not moved. If you recognized your experience in the stages I just described, type in the comments. Type, "The appointment has not moved." Because the declaration is the first movement in the reversal, and the reversal is available to you now. Chosen one, I want to give you one more breakthrough before we move into the final revelations, because this one addresses something that may have been the most quietly costly thing in your season. Here is the symptom. You have had moments where you felt close, where everything was aligning, and the sense of the appointment was strongest, and the quality of clarity was the highest it had been in a while. And then something happened. Not necessarily something dramatic, sometimes just the return of ordinary life, the return of the weight, the return of the circumstances that did not cooperate, and the feeling of closeness receded, and you were left with the particular pain of having felt the appointment clearly and then having it become unclear again. The common explanation for that experience is spiritual inconsistency. The feeling of being close to God is fluctuating because your commitment is fluctuating. That is the explanation most people reach for, and it creates a cycle of self-correction, recommitment, and eventual recurrence of the same pattern that does not address the actual mechanism. The actual mechanism is this: the moments of clarity, the moments when the appointment felt close and the receiver was picking up the signal clearly, were not peaks in your spiritual discipline. They were moments when the neurological conditions in your system temporarily aligned to produce higher than baseline synchronization. And the return of the fog, the return of the distance, was not a spiritual retreat. It was the return to the baseline synchronization level that the formation season has established. This means that clarity was never the exception. The clarity was the preview of the baseline. It was what your system is designed to operate at, and the fog is the temporary condition, not the permanent one. What the receiver restoration does is not produce new peaks of clarity. It raises the baseline, so that what was previously an exceptional experience of being in clear reception becomes the ordinary operating state, not a peak you visit and leave. The ground you stand on, that is what is available through the restoration of the receiver. And that is why the appointment that tomorrow refers to does not require you to catch a peak experience and hold it. It requires the baseline to be at the level where the appointment can be received not in an exceptional moment, but in an ordinary morning of an ordinary week. The exceptional moments you have already experienced were not accidents. They were your system demonstrating what it is capable of when the conditions are right. The restoration of the receiver makes the conditions right as a permanent baseline rather than a temporary peak. The tool does not make the appointment. God made the appointment before you were born. The tool does not make you the reason it ends. God designated that before you arrived in the season you are in. What the tool does is restore the receiver to the capacity that allows you to arrive at the appointment as the person the appointment was designed for. The tool supports what God is doing. It does not replace it. And for those whose spirit confirmed it, the link is in the description and in the pinned comment. It remains available. That door does not close at the end of this message. Now I want to continue walking with you toward what comes next, because there are two more revelations in this message, and they belong to the space beyond the appointment, not what happens at the appointment. What happens in the person who has walked through it? Chosen one. The fourth revelation is this. You have been thinking about the final moment as something that happens to you. As an event you walk into, something changes, and you emerge changed. But that is not the full structure of what a Kairos appointment is. A Kairos appointment is not a thing that happens to you. It is a thing that happens through you. The appointment activates in the moment you step into it because the profile it was built around is now present and operational, which means the moment does not wait for you to feel ready. The moment completes itself when the receiver who carries the profile shows up. Your job is not to be ready. Your job is to show up as the person who has been assembled. And the showing up, the actual physical and spiritual act of moving into the space the appointment has prepared, is the completion mechanism. You do not walk into the final moment and then become the reason it ends. You walk into the final moment as the reason it ends. The designation is not awarded at the end. It is why the appointment exists. This changes how you move today. Because if the designation is already true, if you are already the reason it ends, then the question is not whether you will be ready when tomorrow arrives. The question is whether you will step into the position that tomorrow has already assigned you. And the receiver condition is what determines whether that step is available to you. A receiver running at the capacity the appointment requires does not produce the hesitation that the inadequacy argument produces. It produces the quiet certainty of a person who knows where they are going because the signal they are receiving is clear enough to navigate by. Chosen one, the fifth and final revelation, is the one that integrates everything else. And I want to bring it carefully because it is the largest thing in this message. You are the reason it ends. This message has been building toward helping you receive that fully. But there is one more dimension of it that we have not yet named. You are not the reason one thing ends. You are the reason an era ends. A specific configuration of what has been blocked, delayed, withheld. Not just for you, but in the dimension you were assembled to operate in, reaches its completion when the receiver that was designated for this moment is online and in position. This is not about you having more importance than any other person in the divine plan. It is about you being the specific profile that unlocks a specific configuration. The way a key unlocks a door. The key is not more important than the door. The key is the specific shape that allows the mechanism to move. And the mechanism has been holding something that is ready to be released. What has been ready to be released is not just what you have been waiting for. It is what the people connected to you have been waiting for. What your family has been waiting for. What your specific sphere of influence has been carrying as unrealized potential. The profile you carry does not operate only in your life. It operates in the field that your life touches. And when the receiver is restored and the appointment is stepped into, the release is not personal. It is generational. I want to take you to a final image before we go into the closing of this message. It is a moment, not months from now, but years. You are looking back from a position that the formation season could not have shown you because you were in the middle of it. And from that position looking back, the map of everything that happened, every season, every seemingly delayed breakthrough, every period of quiet, every time the appointment felt like it was getting further instead of closer, resolves into a coherent picture. The picture shows a person being assembled, a receiver being calibrated, a profile being completed, and a moment, the moment we have been calling tomorrow, where the completion occurred and the assembly walked into its appointment. From that position, looking back, the question of whether you were ready will seem like a question that misunderstood the whole architecture. The question was never whether you were ready. The question was always whether the receiver would be online when the appointment arrived. You are being answered today. That is why this message found you. Chosen one, I want to give you something to carry from this message into tomorrow. Not a principle, a practice. A specific orientation that allows the receiver you are carrying to begin operating at a higher level of sensitivity than it has been. I am going to call it the 3 appointment keys. These are not steps toward the appointment. They are the orientations that allow the appointment to find the version of you it was designed for. The first appointment key is what I call Kairos listening. Chronos is always loud. It fills every moment with urgency, with to-do lists, with the pressure of clock time and deadline. Kairos is quiet. It does not shout. It appears in the margin of a moment, in the quality of a specific interaction, in the feeling that something just said or seen is more significant than it appears. Kairos listening is the practice of creating space in the daily rhythm for the quieter signal to be heard. Not meditation necessarily, but a quality of attentiveness to what is operating underneath the clock time. The second appointment key is profile trust. You have spent the formation season in the company of a version of yourself that felt incomplete. That is the appropriate experience of being assembled. But the assembly is complete, which means the profile you carry right now, including the parts that feel like wounds, including the parts that feel like insufficiencies, including the parts that feel like what was taken rather than what was given, is the complete profile. Not the partial profile waiting for more to be added, the complete one. Profile trust is the practice of acting from that completion rather than from the sensation of incompleteness. The third appointment key is receiver stewardship. The receiver you carry has been through the formation. It is not broken, but it has been loaded. And the stewardship of the receiver, giving it the conditions it needs to operate at the level the appointment requires, is the most important practical act of your next season. What you eat, how you rest, how you protect the quality of your interior environment, and what you use to specifically restore the neurological synchronization that the appointment requires. All of that is receiver stewardship. And it is sacred work, because the receiver was built for something that requires it to be operating well. The genius switch, for those who felt confirmation during this message, is one specific tool for the restoration of the synchronization the receiver requires. It is in the description and in the pinned comment. It is a small thing, 8 minutes a day. But small things that restore the receiver capacity change what becomes available through the receiver. And what is waiting to become available through yours is not small. Chosen one, I want to give you a moment here, not because we are rushing toward the end, because the person who is going to step into what comes after this message needs a moment of interior settling, of the kind of stillness that does not happen at the level of the mind, but at the level of the whole person. I want you to notice something in your body right now. Notice where the weight of everything you have been carrying tends to accumulate. Not to release it, just to notice it is there and that it has been there, and that you have been carrying it for longer than it was designed to be carried, without relief. Now I want to notice something alongside it. Beneath the weight, there is something that has not been diminished by the weight, something that was present at the beginning of the formation season and is present right now. Something that the formation has not reduced in size but has, in fact, concentrated. Like water that has been heated, the volume has changed, but the essential thing, the thing that makes it water, is unchanged. That is the designation, that is the appointment, that is the profile. It has been concentrated by the formation season into a precision that it did not have when the season began. And the final moment is tomorrow, not because a calendar said so, but because the concentration is complete and the deployment is what follows. Let me bring one more figure into this message, David. And I do not want to bring David as the story of the giant, though the giant is relevant. I want to bring David as the story of the interval, the years between the anointing and the throne. David was designated while Saul was still king. The designation was real. The appointment was real. And the interval between the designation and the deployment looked from the inside like everything except confirmation. It looked like being hunted, like hiding, like having the throne designated for you and being unable to access it, like being the reason something was supposed to end while living in the conditions of something that had not yet ended. And David did not spend the interval arguing with the designation. He did not spend it trying to force the appointment into clock time. He played music in the wilderness. He gathered the people who found him in the places of hiding. He led at the level available to him while waiting for the level the appointment was preparing him for. The interval was not delay. The interval was the final phase of the assembly. And when the throne came, it came to a David who had been formed not just for the role but for the specific quality of kingship the people needed. You are in the David interval, and it is ending. Chosen one, I want to take you into the final moments of this message with something active, not a conclusion, a commissioning, because the person who walks out of this message carries something different from the person who walked in. I want to do a guided mental activation with you before we close. This is not a visualization for emotional effect. It is a specific practice that produces an integration of what we have covered today at a level that reaches below conscious processing. If you are able, close your eyes for a moment. Take one breath that is slightly longer than your normal breath, not forced, just conscious. And as you breathe in, I want you to move your awareness away from everything that is on your mind right now and toward the deepest layer of what you know. The layer underneath the fatigue and the uncertainty and the circumstantial pressure, the layer where the designation lives, where the appointment has your name on it, where the assembly is complete. I want you to find in that layer the specific quality of knowing that says, I am the reason it ends, not as a loud declaration, as a quiet recognition, a returning, like water finding its level. Now from that layer, I want you to see forward, not to the details of the appointment, because the details are not yours to design, to the quality of the morning, when you wake up already in position, already oriented, already in the clarity of a receiver that is picking up the signal it was built to receive. That morning exists. It is not a hope, it is an appointment, and you are the reason it is scheduled. Notice what it feels like to receive that, not to achieve it, to receive it, because the appointment is not something you build, it is something you arrive into. And the arrival is what happens when the receiver is online and the profile is in position. From that state, I want you to say one thing in the interior space where the real declarations happen. Say this: I am the reason it ends. I was assembled for this. The appointment has my name, and I receive now everything that the restoration of my receiver makes available to me in this season and in every season that follows. Open your eyes when you are ready, and know that what you just declared was heard in the dimension where appointments are kept. Chosen one, before this message ends, let me speak something over your life, something that belongs not to the conclusion of what we have discussed, but to the beginning of what you are walking into. I want to start with witness. You were here for this message. You heard it. You let something in you receive what it was saying, even in the moments when the magnitude of it was asking a lot of you. That is not ordinary. That is the posture of a person who is already walking toward the appointment, and it did not go unnoticed. I want you to release something right now. Release the story that says you are not yet the person the appointment requires. Release it. Release the timeline you have been comparing your process to. Release it. Release the comparison between your assembly and the assembly of people around you who appear to be further along. Release it. Release the accumulated weight of the years when the appointment felt like a promise rather than a reality. Release it. Release the inadequacy argument, every piece of it. Release it. Release the perpetual tomorrow pattern, the pattern of always being one step removed from the arrival. Release it. Now receive what is true. You are the designated profile. The appointment has been waiting for you, not the other way around. Everything that has been assembled in you, every season, every formation, everything taken and everything built through the taking has been the preparation of the profile that unlocks what the appointment was designed to release. You are not the person who is still getting ready. You are the person who has arrived at the threshold. The final moment is tomorrow, and you are the reason it ends. Chosen one, I declare over you now that the receiver is being restored to the capacity the appointment requires. I declare that the Kairos blind spot is closing and the signal is becoming clear. I declare that the assembly of your profile, which looked like loss and delay and preparation without deployment, is revealed now as the precise and intentional building of the person this appointment was made for. I declare that the generational release that your profile carries is moving into position, and I declare that what God said about you before you were born is being confirmed in your experience in this season. If you received that, type in the comments. Type, "The reason it ends is me." Let this community stand with you in the declaration. It is sealed, and so it is. If this message found you at the right moment, share it with one person who is in the interval right now, the person whose assembly looks like it is taking too long, who is close but does not know how close. Because the word that confirms the appointment of that person does not just inform them, it moves them into position. And the moment a person moves into position, everything that has been arranged around them begins to move. Take a moment and gently press the like so this reaches the next appointed person. And if this community is where your Kairos is unfolding, stay close. There is more coming. The link in the description and in the pinned comment is available for those whose spirit confirmed it during this message. It is an 8-minute daily investment in the receiver the appointment requires. Go there if the confirmation came. The appointment has your name. The reason it ends is you. Now walk like it. And so it is.